Right, heading on to York now and taking it from the start. John Smith's Racing Handicap 155. Graham, I know you've been waiting for us to come to this race.
Yeah, there's a good bet in this race. For again, Charlie Appleby, who's absolutely flying, banging in the winners at Newmarket this week. He's had one run in his first two seasons. So one run 2 years ago, finished fifth. One run last year, absolutely bolted up at Newmarket. Went off 6-4 favourite, first time up back at Newmarket this time. Pulled far too hard, and forget that. I stepped back in the right direction last time on the July course there. I'm not beaten far behind Banditry. The interesting angle is that Charlie Appleby going for the cheap pieces first time. I mean, when he sticks cheap pieces on, his horses almost always improve. I think his strike rate jumps from 22% to 33% when he's got the cheap pieces on, and that's what we've got here with Furness. It's obviously also that they think's got plenty of ability, because they wouldn't have kept hold of it at the age of 4 after just 4 runs if they didn't think that he had a big race in it. And I think you're going to see a massively improved performance from Furness in the first at York.
Furness in the 155 at York. Good man. I'm getting a lot of hurry up signals from Sam, who I think has a table booked for lunch, unfortunately. So we're gonna have to rattle through York quite quickly. Rather than doing it race by race, if I'd have got to each of you and you tell me what your best bet for York is, or maximum best 2 bets. So we've just heard from you, Graham, your best bet, Furness 155. David, what's your number one?
There's 2 I like on the card, Tom. I'm taking on Graham in the 155 with Weekend Offender of Kevin Rhines. I know we spoke obviously about Kevin earlier on, but got his leg caught in the stalls at Hamilton for a decent enough handicap there last time, was just pulled up straight after the start, but continues to give the impression that he's well handicapped in the 80s. His form has worked out well, the Nottingham race worked out well, and he won his last visit to York last October. He won reasonably convincingly that day. I know it was a neck, but he always looked like he was coming out on top. Won by a neck that day off a mark of 86. He's off 89 here. York is one of these tracks. It's a funny sort of place. I like horses that have won at York before, and I'd imagine that obviously the race at Hamilton the last day was a second run of the season. I'd say this has been in Kevin Ryan's mind, not quite as much as her pace, but I'd say it's been in his mind for quite a while, and I think Weekend Offender, drawn stall 14, should be okay. There's plenty of pace on that side. I think he'd be hard to beat. I am worried about Furness in the first time cheek piece. I think he'll run well, but I think Weekend Offender slightly just might be better handicapped off his mark in the 80s. And the other one I like is in the 415, the City Wallace Stakes. It's quite an interesting sprint, I think, but this Judicial is just a winning machine at the moment, and I don't think they've got to the bottom of him yet. He was so impressive the last day at Beverley. I thought he kind of need to be covered up in races, but he seems to be settling nicely now. Joe Doyle found the key to him, and they get on so well together. He's up to a mark now of 107. He's been brilliant the last 3 times. I don't see York being any problem to him, and I think he's a group race sprinter in the making. I know he's 5 now, but I think he's very good. I think 5-1 is very fair about Judicial.
Good man. Frank, top York.
Funny enough, I'm going to break the rules and go more than 2. Tom, but I'll be quick. Completely agree with David on those 2. They were my 2. Weekend Offender, really like him in York, 155. He was very well back the day at Hamilton as well, which is interesting. Back to York, I think he'd take the beating there. I think he's 6-1. The 415 Judicial, he's just a winning machine. He's broken the track record of Beverley and Pontefract this year. He's up against the 2015 winner Outdo, 2014 winner Takeover, but he's just on a roll. And these sprinters, you can't go against them on a roll like this. In the John Smith's Cup, I'm going to put up 2 really quickly. UA Prince, I've put him up a few times, but he's been gelded since disappointing in a Lister race at Ascot last time over 1.5 miles. He didn't really get home today. He's been gelded, but he went off 94 that day, which suggests a mark of 97 should be okay. If the gelding operations worked, he could be lobbed in. He could absolutely hose up here. But I will have a small saver on Majid, who was a humongous eye catcher at Ascot in the Wolverton. Jamie Spencer was on. He was out the back the whole way, cruised through the field. Jamie, it looked like he didn't hit him at all with the whip and thought he'd just get there, but unfortunately the line came just in time and he was beating a neck. But I think he's off the same mark here. If he's ridden quietly out the back and perhaps comes a bit sooner with a run, he could be involved at a decent enough price.